Alrighty. First off, I want to say bear with me with the blurry picture. This is the best I can do. I'm recording this on the laptop from the desktop. So the first thing we want to do is import and delete files. So obviously I'm going to be doing this a little bit different than you would be because I don't want to delete my files because they're working files. But to delete a file, you would right click on it and go to delete. And it would just delete the file. Then you would go to Wes's site, download the new KMZ file, and I usually just save to my default desktop. And right now I'm going to be doing everything in temporary files, or temporary places, because, well, for me they're temporary. You would be doing it under your My Places though. When stuff opens, it opens under temporary. You have to drag it up. So, to open the file, File, Open, point to where you downloaded the file. Obviously, I'm already on my desktop. And just click on it. And boom, there it is. Now what I do is I click it once and get the folder and bring the folder up. This shell listing can be disregarded. If you have a long list of files that you've done, you can go delete contents. Right click and delete contents, and it'll delete everything that's in your temporary places folder. So now you can look around your file, blah, 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 blah. Let's put this back down into temporary on mine. You wouldn't be doing this. And we're going to be going to Texarkana, Texas, because I have the Sanborn map pages in JPEG form and not PDF form. A lot of the stuff I have is PDF form on my hard drive. It just so happens Texas I have as JPEGs. So Sanborn, Texas, Texarkana, and this is 24, 1905. Let's see 1905. No. Because what I'm trying to do is find something with a roundhouse, since this is roundhouse. 58. That's what I want. 58. Because you can see the turntable down here. Well, you might not be able to because the camera's blurry. Okay, so 58. Okay, so there's the turntable. It's we'll go back here. Oh, that's right, because I still have this. So I'm turning off the file I just downloaded and working off of mine. Texas Pacific Railway. So what I usually do is orientate the way the page is. So it would be roughly like this. So you would go add, right click on a folder that you would want it in, I'm working off temporary places. Right click, add. This new menu will come up. You want to add an image overlay. You now get the green hash marks of where your overlay will be. You want to add a local image, which then I will point to Texas, Texarkana, and page, what did I say, 58? Yeah. Oh, I'm an idiot. Scratch that. Image overlay, browse. And that looks like 58. Yeah. So now your image will show up. Now, ones like this are difficult because you're working with angled streets. The easiest ones are ones with the streets parallel to the page. But this dotted line that goes through the middle is the county line. So we'll line that up first. This is Broad. And this is Spruce. So Broad and Spruce on angle. This might be a little bit too complicated for newbies. So let's try a different page. We'll just take this one right off the bat, which is in this area. So we got 3rd Street, we got Elm Street, we got Broad Street, we got West Street. This is Elm, this is West, this is 3rd, and this is Broad. So you would just stretch them. What did I say? This is Elm. Bring Elm over. Put West here. Bring this up. Now for fine tuning. I find it's easiest to fine tune when it's more transparent. West Street. Elm Street. Third Street. And we'll line up these train tracks here with the bridge. Double check this. Reposition that a little bit more. That's the stream. So yeah, it looked like it would be something like this, roughly. So now that you have your page set, you can slide the slider back over and make it fully opaque and click OK, and now it's locked. So that's the overlay. Now I want to make a path to trace the train tracks. You would just right click on something, wherever you would want it. You want to add a path. I would recommend upping your width under the style and color, upping your width to at least 3. Or I should say at least 2. And let's go change the color to something visible. Click OK. And now you start making your line. During this, you can use your up, down, left, and right arrow keys to control and this is not going to be pretty because I'm just doing a demonstration, so I'm not going to take the time to make sure the arcs look like they're in the right degree and all that. Make another path. You can make another path. Make another path. Now you would have to, right now I'm hitting the arrow buttons and they're not moving. You have to, we'll start here because this is where I want to start. You have to click on it first. Have one dot. Now you'll be able to move it. Excuse me. Now, see how I started here in this line? So you'd right click this line, go to properties. Now you can, if I click one more time, it connects to the last one that I did, which is the last screen. So what I want to do is take this first dot, move it over here, and then fill in the rest. Now, let's do the trestles. To do buildings and draw, say you have the roundhouse or the turntable, you'd want to right-click, add polygon. And we'll change this color so it's easy to see on both lines and area. Lines make bigger, 3.0. Area, you don't want it solid. I like to do mine 50% so you can see through it some. And for trestles, I always go the area as a contrasting color. So let's do a blue. And then you would just make the box. Now, you can't see anything right now. So let's make this image overlay. Go back to the image overlay, right click, properties, and you can back this down, the transparency. Now you can see the polygon I made. So let's make another one for this bridge. And let's go make this building, even though it's not a railroad building. Again, polygon. We'll change this back to orange. And drawing buildings is a acquired talent. You have to kind of know what you're doing. So, the closest way I can explain it is figure eighting it. So you want to start here, you come down here, you go over here. You'd want to, because there's a wall here, and I want to show that there's the two separate sections of the building along with the porches. Oh, I did that wrong. How did I start this? Let's try this way. Yeah, that's working. So you bring it down, you'll make the box, continue over here, and in this section, the two porch awnings has a line through it. So you always want to go around. Everything is circle. You'd bring it up to the first line and make your box. And in this area, because you already have the line, what I do is I'll click in the middle, click it, and then drag it. So the points are on top of each other. So now you can go to here. Oh, see, I forgot about this porch. So you always want to go farther and come back around to make sure it's shaded. And again, to lock it in, just click OK. So now that you have that, you can turn off your image overlay, and there you go. This building used to be right here, the train tracks. This train track, you can see, lines up with the train track that's in the road still. The two bridges used to be over here that went over the stream. So we've covered import file, delete file, overlay, and position the overlay. The polygog for the buildings, the paths for the rail lines, place marks. Right click, add place mark. So you got your place mark here. In name it whatever you want. Blah blah. I want to add a image. I'm gonna back this out and show you. You got the image inside of it with the text. And you go back over to your places, right click, and go to properties so you can open up the place mark again. Everything, if you ever want to edit, you got to go right click and go to properties. So I want to add a image. I'm just going to point to anything. It comes up as 500. I would change the 500 to something bigger. Let's go 800. And I want to add some text after it. So, and you're done. You got your picture, you got your text. I don't want my text there though. That was a bad example to do. But after your image, what I always do is arrow BR arrow, which is a break. I just hit enter. So now I'm at the end of this and I want to do a space. Say I want another line. Okay, so I hit enter, do another line. If you notice, it's all one line though. So let's go back to properties, go to the first line ending and hit arrow BR arrow and click OK. Now you got two lines. If I want an actual space between these two lines, I like to set it up typing the way I want it to show. So I'll hit enter, arrow BR enter. And now you have a space between the two lines. And I think that is all people would need to know. So there you go. And because myself, I don't want any of the stuff that I just did, I would right click on temporary places and say delete contents. You can do that to any folder. Obviously, I'm not going to do it to any of my folders because it's all my maps and stuff. But yeah, if I wanted to keep the folder and delete everything in it, I would just go delete contents. If I want to delete the folder altogether, I would just hit delete. And that is your quick down and dirty how-tos for Google Earth.